Hi, Pete's fans. Welcome to another episode of For Pete's Sake, your weekly podcast on everything Peterborough Pete's. I am your co-host, Josh Reeser, and joining me from distance this week in the shining city of Marmora, Ontario, is co-host, twin brother, and encyclopedia of OHL knowledge, Matt Reeser. How are you doing? How are things down Highway 7 in Marmora there, my brother?
Well, it's great. And another week of Pete's hockey, so I'm looking forward to it. Three big games this week.
Absolutely. Now, is there a Pete's following in Marmora? Is it a pretty hockey crazy community? Are you a local celebrity with the podcast down in your elegant town there?
I don't know if I'm a celebrity, but I think anybody that knows anything about hockey should be a Pete's fan.
Absolutely, and hopefully they're following you there. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you can join us from distance, so we'll get this show going. Outline for this show, fans. Pete's dropped a couple more games, bringing their record to 0-4. We will recap those games. One was against the North Bay Battalion, the other the Sudbury Wolves. Like last week, we do have some performances that we thought stood out despite those losses. We are going to shout out those players in the 3 stars of the week. We're also going to take a quick look around the OHL, and it is going to make you guys feel better as fans because not every team has started out the way they wanted. It is not all doom and gloom, and it is still early, so no panicking yet. And we're going to look ahead at the week ahead. The Petes have their first 3 games in 3 night stretch coming up, so it'll be a busy one. We'll highlight those games for you and give our predictions. So, without further ado, let us get going. Maddie's going to start us out with the first game, which was a home game against the North Bay Battalion. And I'm going to start it off and say it was the Fitzgerald show. But Maddie, take it away. Sorry to step on your thunder there. Got me fired up when I saw it.
Yeah. So the Petes ended up dropping this one 5-3, but they came out of this into this game and just flying in the first period. They had North Bay on their toes. The shots were 11-4, like 9 minutes into the game, and the Petes had 3-0 lead already at the start of this game. So they scored 53 seconds in. I liked it. Gowan, their second pick, got it up the ice, and Fitzgerald finishes off a 4-on-1.
I
So
love it. Second round pick to first round pick. Fitz magic. It's in the back of the net.
yeah, it was back in the net. Then you get Padre and Fitzgerald scoring on the power play, which is great. You see the power play is working well.
My
The
boy
guys
Padre.
fired up. North Bay is rattled. They've got them kind of pinned down. Uh, Then all of a sudden, North Bay called a timeout to kind of resettle themselves, and they get two
Hmm.
quick ones. It's 3-2 before you can say anything.
Yeah.
And North Bay just kind of seemed to use that momentum, and they scored five straight, right? The Pete's up 3-0, and they scored five straight. One was an empty netter, uh,
Hmm.
but the momentum kind of shifted there, and then there was an unfortunate turnover that led to the winner for North Bay in their own end. It was kind of a no-look pass right to a North Bay guy who walks in on a breakaway and scores.
Yeah.
Uh, and then they took a penalty in the last minute with 1:09 left. So they couldn't really pull their goalie. But they
Hmm.
had so many chances to tie this up or get that fourth goal. And that
Hmm.
was the difference in this one. They just couldn't finish that fourth one and put it out of reach.
Yeah.
North Bay just clawed their way back in like a veteran team does.
Was there anything you saw specifically besides the timeout that led to? Because it seemed like you said that, oh no, North Bay called a timeout. They're down 3-0, and they scored almost immediately after, and then they just kept going.
Yeah.
Like, was there anything else that you kind of saw in the Pete's game, or was it just,
No.
the North Bay just reset really well and it worked?
Yeah, they just looked like they reset, got their legs back a little bit, had an offensive shift in the zone where they kind of cycled it around.
Mm.
Then they just built off that energy and then potted two quick ones. Um, and then they kind of Zach Bowen again made probably the save of the year in this one.
Oh,
Uh,
offhand Steitzel. If you haven't seen it, it's all over the CHL website.
I'm just
Reaches back and
yeah,
pulls it off the line.
yeah. And then,
Unbelievable.
like I said, they were 2 for 7 on the power play, so that's better.
Hmm.
Um, it's just one of those games where you really hope they could have pulled it out. Um, they played with a tough team like North Bay they just didn't play the complete 60 minutes.
Mm.
And that will kill you in this league. If you're
Yeah,
a team and you need
yeah,
everybody competing for that full 60 if you want to win. But for me, this was probably the hardest loss of the year because they had them on the ropes and it kind of just they let them back in and then they just couldn't recover.
for
Uh,
sure. For sure.
I saw a lot of encouraging things. So like
Yeah,
the last start was great. The rookies getting on the score sheet. Nice to see
yeah,
Ajay rewarded because he works his tail off.
yeah,
Um, Jankin on the back end is solid.
yeah,
Lads is physical this year. I thought Nico Addy had his best game. He was finishing checks. He was calming the boys down. He was doing the little things that it takes to win.
yep,
Overall, it's a tough loss, but lots of going in the right direction, I would say.
for sure. For sure. There's one thing we alluded to a bit earlier on one of our first episodes that you have to learn how to win, how to hold a lead too.
Yeah,
It's part of the learning process. So getting the lead is one thing. Holding on to it once you've got it is another thing, and it takes practice. And the only way to do it is to get a lead
yeah,
and then hold it, and then and repetition, and then figure out what it takes to do that, and then put that into practice, and then so hopefully the Petes will have a lot more opportunities. They'll have leads and have the opportunity to hold them and
yeah,
um, get more wins.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that brought us on to the very next night down the road to Sudbury. Pete's did lose this one as well, going 0-2 last week. 5-2 the final score. We got to see Stutska in net. Nice to see a familiar face in net. Good to see him playing. I still think he's an exceptional goalie. I think he's probably the odd man out eventually. That's what my gut's telling me. Again, no insider information. But great to see him get some starts before that does happen because I don't want him to go. I think he's an awesome part of the team. 2 goals from captain Jonathan Malee. Nice to see him get on the score sheet. One of those was a shorthanded, a really nice play to go down on a 2-on-1 and finish very, very well. Another really good start in this one. I thought the Petes came out and they were flying. They were taking it to Sudbury earlier on. They just couldn't beat Finn Marshall, who's the goalie for Sudbury. He had a strong game. He kept the Petes off the score sheet, and I think with any luck, any more finish, the Petes probably start this game similar to North Bay with a little bit of a lead, but that's not the way it went. Chippy game in this one. 24 penalty minutes combined between the two teams in the first period alone. Um, Former Pete McCoy was wrapped up all night in it, as you saw. Obviously, no love lost. Ended up fighting Strohack, and then he actually went at it with Lefebvre, which surprising. Those guys have more of a history together. They were on the OHL winning team from 2023 together and started the year last year. And but I guess that's the business of hockey. Once the game's on,
yeah,
you play hard, and even if it's one of your boys, you don't back down.
yeah,
So interesting to see McCoy going at it. On that topic, the penalties hurt the Petes in this game. The Wolves went 3 for 8 on the power play and they won 5-2. So you take those 3 goals away, Petes are right in it. That was the difference in this game. And then there were penalties late in the game. The Petes are trying to stage any sort of a comeback. You can't be parading to the box as the Petes were. They just continued to take penalties at bad times. It kills their momentum. And a lot of the guys who don't play on the PK, it throws off your rhythm because you're sitting on the bench for long periods of time. It's hard to get your head in the game when you're not one of those guys that's counted on. Um, there was also a penalty, unfortunately, to Jonathan Malee, 5-minute major for, I think it was check to the head.
yeah.
Yeah, check the head. So he's been suspended for a couple games. Again, part of that, you know, discipline we need to improve on. You want the team to play tough. You don't want the team to back down.
Yeah.
They haven't found that line yet. I don't think. I think they will. I think they're working on it, but you got to be able to not be pushed over, but not hurt the team. And in this one, the penalties certainly hurt the squad. So 5-2, that drops them to 0-4 on the season. But again, like you said, like the start, um, nice to see Mali getting on the board. I thought there were some good signs against Sudbury team, and then just kind of got away with them. I think the biggest thing was the penalties in this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So will continue to grow, and it is a young team. It's 4 games into the season.
Yeah.
I'm still not anywhere near panicking,
No.
and we'll continue to work on it. We'll get the discipline under control, and we'll get some confidence going. I think once this team does start winning, I think we're going to see uh, like a kind of a reborn, like a brand new breath of energy and fresh air into this team that I think is going to carry them to even more wins.
Yeah.
That's what I predict, and I think it will be sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
So I'm optimistic despite this 0-4 start. But we will go on. Like I said, we always have 3 stars of the week. So despite another 0-2 week, 3 stars this week, you got to start with Colin Fitzgerald. Fitz magic, 2 goals in front of the home crowd. I love that. He was fired up. The home crowd was fired up. I love watching a rookie's first goal, and to get two like dramatic like that 53 seconds into the game, and then another one just a few minutes later, like he had the crowd buzzing. He clearly is fired up. I hope it is the first two of many to come. I think it will be. And good on you, kid. Keep up the good work. More goals from Fitzmagic. I love it.
Yeah.
Second, Jonathan Mali, 2 goals against Sudbury. He did have the head check at the end of the game, but he's a huge part of this team, leadership wise and on the ice. He's a strong player. He plays very responsible defensively. He's a good playmaker. He can finish well, like he did in Sudbury. So 2 goals for him. I think he's a good captain and a great player. So nice on him to get on the score sheet. Hopefully, more of that
Yeah.
going forward as well. And third, Aiden Young. Lots of playmaking abilities. I think he's one of the best. Like, he's just like shifty,
Yeah.
I think is the word I describe him. So he holds onto the puck well. I like watching his playmaking abilities and his poise. Um, he's a good penalty killer. Yeah, I think he's a guy that's going to put up a lot of points, whether it's assists, secondary assists, goals. I think he's a good power play quarterback. So I like watching him play, and I thought he looked poised and had the puck under control in both these games. Looked like with some luck he could have got a couple apples or even a goal.
Yeah.
So
And
those
even
are the 3 stars. Sorry, go on.
he was even plus
And he
minus.
was even. Yeah, plus minus is even in 2 games where you lose. Um,
He got
so
goals.
yeah,
Even.
that that
Yeah.
says all you need to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that brings our teddy bear update. So that's 5 goals this week. So 5 goals this week, 2 last week. We're up to 7 bears. Are you?
Got the Bears.
Matt's got a bag full of bears right there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll continue collecting them. I think there's going to be tons more bears just around the corner,
Yeah.
but we will update you as we get going.
Yeah.
All right, just some overall thoughts from this game. Like we said, um, it's early on in the year. The Petes are 0-4. I know they're struggling. The Petes have seemed to go with that 11-7 alignment, 11 forward, 7D recently. That really stresses needing to stay out of the box, especially for the forwards, because then, 2 forwards go to the box. All of a sudden, you're down quite a few players, and you're kind of juggling your lines. So I think that has really hurt the discipline as well. They obviously have faith in 7 guys back there. They want to get them all ice time. Some of the defensemen are young. If you look at Marin Tet, if you look at Eula, Lads is still young. Cameron's even still like they're second year players, but they're still young. So you want to develop those guys, get them a look. So we'll see how long that goes. The 11-7 outlook. Penalties, like we said, continue to be an issue. Pete's our second in the league in penalties, 104 minutes through 4 games, and I think it's just Windsor that's ahead of them. Windsor, I think's played one more game,
But
and
won all their games.
have they what? Sorry,
They won. They're winning every game.
they're winning every game, but I think they've played 5 games. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they have one more game played. So, um, penalties per game, the Pete's are probably in first. Again, you can't have that every game. You want to stick up for your team. You want to be hard to play against. It's fine to be, kind of in the upper tier if that's how the team plays. Hard forecheck. That's what their calling card was the year they won. So I think you can have success being a hard team to play against, but your PK has to be bang on, and you have to your penalties have to be appropriate and at the right times. And so far, it's hurt them a bit this year. So they need to figure that out, dial it back, because it's hurting them more than it's helping them right now. Lots of runway left, though. I want to stress this again. 0-4. If we Matt's gonna take a look around the league, but a little tiny spoiler alert: there's some teams that are played 5 games and have 2 points, played 4 games and have 2 points. The Pete's are the only winless team. They're at 0. But you go on a streak where you win one or two, like you're climbing the standings pretty darn quick. So it's not at all time to panic. Guys are going to figure this out. I believe in the coaches and I believe in the players. So no worries. It's only 4 games, and the Pete's are showing signs, like we said. I thought they played super strong against North Bay to start out. North Bay is not a bad team. I thought they also came out very strong against Sudbury. So there's signs where they are the better team, particularly at 5-on-5. So we clear up those penalties. We put in a 60-minute effort. I think we're going to get some wins. I think it's right around the corner. I really do. I think this team's still a playoff team. I think they get some wins going. They rattle off some. There's work to be done for sure, but I think this team is better than the record they have currently, and I think they've shown that. And I believe good things are right around the corner. So take a breath, fan base, and we better days are going to be ahead. I'm convinced of it, and I believe. Younger players are starting to show up on the score sheet. We love to see that. Gowan has actually played pretty well. Not really known for his offensive flair, but um, couple assists so far in the season. Known more as a tough stay-at-home defenseman. Nice to get him on the board. And then I would say Fitzgerald. Fitzpatrick. Fitzmagic, whatever you want to call him. 2 goals. He great for him. Great for his confidence. Nice to do it in front of the home building. More of that. We'll keep that going. He still doesn't look rattled to me. It looks like he can play in this league. Will figure it out. And with Jonathan Malee suspended, maybe we'll see Stutska a couple more times. Maybe Stutska rallies, plays like he did last year, and gets us a couple wins, which wouldn't be a bad thing. So we'll have to see. Those are my thoughts. Anything you wanna add? I continue to I've said it a couple times. I want to stress 4 games. It's 4 games. I've seen some good things. I think this team's right on the cusp. I think there's been some moments where the game's kind of shifted away, and it's a bit of a quicksand effect where they just sink a little bit faster than they can swim. But I am in no means thinking that this team has been outgunned and outmanned and not at least had a shot in most of the games they've played in.
Yeah. I'm just more curious if they're going to continue with the 4 forwards, 1 defenseman on the power play, or they're going to go back to the 2D,
Mm,
3 forwards. Power play hasn't been bad, but they've given up a few shorthanded goals, and it's nice
yeah,
to have a guy back there that can stop those rushes if they occur.
for sure.
But I've liked their power play, especially against North Bay. It was clicking pretty well. Uh, and I think, like you said, the effort's there, which you can't teach. It's just picking up those skills. And I think, like you said, once they get a win under their belts, I think you'll see this team's confidence shoot right up there. And I think they're going
Absolutely.
into a week where that could happen.
I agree. I agree. We'll highlight that a little bit later in the show, but I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. And then the only other thing is with Mali suspended, does that mean no Mason Johnson start? Uh,
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel there's a need to rush him.
no.
I'd like to see him get a couple, to develop. I want to see him get into some games eventually. But I mean,
Yeah. You don't want
with Mali out, I'm comfortable playing Stutska for a while, letting Johnson get his reps in practice, be
to,
around the guys. I think that's valuable as well.
yeah.
And then when the time comes, get him in there.
Yeah. I think I would be just to, because you can dress them because now you have three overagers with Mali being suspended.
Right.
I think you give Stutska the home game.
Yeah,
This-
I would too. I agree. We'll see what the coaches are thinking. Maybe they want to, for Bowen's,
Yeah.
like the mental side of the game, just let him know he's the guy,
Yeah.
and maybe they want to just kind of like give him give
Yeah.
him the net, let him know, let him know it's his net, if that's the plan going forward. But no, I agree. It would be a nice way to, if we're gonna trade, so it's gonna be a nice way to send him off,
Yeah.
and I think he gives you a great chance to win.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, there's lots of season, like we said, and the Pete's will figure it out. Good
Absolutely,
staff, good young talent. They'll figure it out.
absolutely. Better days ahead.
Yeah. We'll go
Yep.
around the league here quick. So Brampton like came in ranked high. They've not disappointed. They racked up two more wins this week, beating Barrie and London pretty handily. Uh,
Yeah,
but then, like we said, there's been so many weird games. They go to they play Niagara, and then they lose 7-3.
yeah,
And if that's not weird enough, their starting goalie got in a goalie fight,
yeah.
Niagara's goalie, and now he's suspended for 4 games.
Right.
So I mean, do they have a backup that can carry them? And I mean, they've got enough
That's
talent
true.
without
Yeah,
having a stellar goalie, but
yeah,
how does
yeah.
it?
Maybe that could be something that hurts them for 4 games. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or does that tell you that let them know if their backup's good enough, and then maybe they get a Stutska to play backup or even load with the other goalie. I
Yeah.
don't. But that's the kind of league we're in. I mean, North Bay lost 9-0 to Kingston the night after they played us.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
well, started out 2-0, and then they lost both games this week to the Greyhounds and Rangers.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
Oshawa's lost 4 games already.
Yeah.
Brant,
London's 1-3.
yeah,
Like
Brant,
there's, yeah, a lot of the teams that are expected to be good. That's why I'm saying, like, my panic level isn't there yet because it's so early in the season.
yeah,
Teams are still figuring it out, like the Pete's, which I think they absolutely will.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, you look around the league, and like you said, Oshawa not off to a great start. They're just ahead of the Pete's.
yeah.
Um,
Brantford,
this Yeah, Brantford predicted to be,
yeah,
in the power rankings. They were the second team at one point. Like they're off to a not great start. And then you look at teams like Niagara, who's the only undefeated team in the OHL. Like
yeah.
who projected them to be that good this soon? And Windsor and
81 goals in
uh,
5 games.
yeah, like Windsor's, yeah, Windsor's offense looks unbelievable.
Yeah. And then,
The other thing is interesting too. Sorry, just on that note, Kitchener is that division's like no one's run away with it yet, but they're 2-2 leading the division, but their goal differential
yeah,
is -12.
yeah,
The Pete's is -14, so only two worse.
yeah,
Pete's are last in their division. Kitchener's first. Like it's just you hit the nail on the head when you said it's a bizarre season.
yeah,
Like there's so many games that have been one-sided that are skewing the stats. So don't read into too many of those things negatively for the Pete's yet,
yeah,
because I think it's too small a sample size.
yeah. And
Um,
you got Saginaw going off too.
yeah.
So
Oh
he's
yeah.
it has 10 goals already.
Yeah.
And,
Michael Misa, unreal.
and they're
2 goals a game average.
they're lighting up the scoreboard. They've got I
Yeah.
don't know how to say his name. They got that defenseman back.
Yeah.
They've returned a lot of players, so they could be dangerous.
Yeah.
And just got Cowan back. So now
Yeah. London's getting Cowan.
they got Cowan back. They got Dickinson back. They got Bonk back.
Yeah.
So
They're going to be
yeah,
strong again, most likely.
it'd be strong.
But I would be lying if I didn't say it made me smile a bit when I saw them in last place.
Yeah,
It made me feel pretty good.
yeah. And then the other big news was that Oshawa acquired Colby Barlow from Puget
Hmm.
Sound.
Yeah.
Um, he's the 18th overall NHL pick in 2023. And they got a defenseman, a forward, and 6 draft picks, including a pair of seconds and thirds. So they got a
Yeah.
big
They got a
haul.
haul for him.
But Oshawa seems to be loading up, and why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Danforth back for their team.
But
Seneca,
then you see, they will not be getting Richie back, at least not to start. He will be in the Avalanche opening roster.
yeah,
So maybe he comes back after that 9 game trial
yeah,
in the NHL, but that's a piece maybe they were hoping to have back, which they won't. So
yeah,
interesting to see there.
yeah. And then the other thing this week was just the rookies that got drafted this year are really putting points up.
Yes, yeah,
Waslin scored 2.
yep.
Um, Alex McLean got 1 already for Guelph. Max Crate from Niagara's scored 2 or 3 already.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Dolchitz from Windsor scored. Fitzgerald scored. Like
Yeah,
the rookies are off to a good start. So
yeah, the young guns. Love to see it.
yeah,
Love to see those young guys come in and make an impact.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like we said, lots of weird things going on. It all balances out eventually. I hope it kind of stays the same in London's case, where they kind of just stay at the bottom.
I
Uh,
would love that. Imagine just
yeah,
they bottom out with all those players and start unloading for once.
yeah,
That would be amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, and I just last thing I wanted to say, sorry before I cut you off again, but um it's like it's so early to make calls and to overreact. And unfortunately, it was the opposite way for the Petes last year, where they started out ridiculously strong, and they were one. Oh, I think we might have lost Matt. Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. I think Matt's might have cut out. He's still in contact with me. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. But I will continue to record. We're through the OHL, so I'll highlight the final 3 games. Anyways, I can still hear him through my headset, so he can remind me of anything that's going on. But you will just be seeing me from now on. Sorry about those technical difficulties. Anyway, like I was saying, I mean the Petes started out. They were ranked in the CHL last year. At one point, they were like top 5 in the CHL, and then they just, they fell back down to earth, missed the playoffs. So the opposite can happen. The Petes are winless, but they can certainly climb. Teams can certainly fall, and other teams that have started off weak can start strong, and vice versa. So no need to panic. Well, anyways, Matt alluded to it. Looking like there's a chance to make up some ground as soon as this week. So we'll highlight the week ahead. On October 10th, the Petes rematch the Sudbury Wolves. We just played them down in their barn. Now they're coming here. It's the return of Donovan McCoy. I hope the fans do give him a salute. He was a good captain and a good player here. Always seems to be very chippy games, especially even going back to the 2023 playoffs. So we'll see lots of chippiness, maybe some more penalties. Hopefully the Petes, like we said, can lock it down a bit, win that special teams battle. The top power play in the league right now is the Wolves. They're at 33%, so stressing even more, needing to stay out of the box. The defensemen, DeAngelis and McCoy, 8 points combined, so they like to jump up into the play, something to watch for. And Quentin Musty has returned to the Wolves. He was up with the San Jose Sharks, so some more firepower. They actually have tied for the fewest goals given up in the entire OHL as well. So a stingy team. It's a team, like we said, the Petes look like they can play with them. if they have the same type of start that they did last game. So I think a winnable game if the Petes play up to their level and avoid some penalties. The next night, the Petes will travel down to Western Ontario to take on the Guelph Storm, a very structurally sound team, keep games close, and like to capitalize on their chances. They've given up the fewest goals in the OHL, had that 2-0 start before dropping 2 games last week. But another team I think the Petes can play well with. I think if they play up to their standard, the Petes can go toe to toe, and I think they even have a better offense on paper, arguably than Guelph, is what I would say. So I think another winnable game. And then finally, to wrap up the 3 games in 3 nights, they will continue on to Owen Sound for a game against the Attack. The Attack are a rebuilding squad. We mentioned the trade of Colby Barlow. They have 1 win in their first 4 games. They have Carter George between the pipes. He's always an X factor. He can absolutely steal you a game, but that's a game where the Petes are probably either on par, maybe even favored. They were ahead of them in the power rankings to start the year, and then the Petes, still being winless, may have dropped one spot and maybe dead last, but they're right second last and last. So um, I think potentially, it's tough when you get 3-3. Fatigue sets in. We'll see what they do with their rosters. We'll see what they do with Stuttgart. They're missing Malie for a couple of games. I still think the Petes realistically with play the way they can and fix up a couple discipline issues, stick to the structure. I think they have a chance to win 3. I honestly think they could come out 3 wins. They're back to 3-4. So I know maybe that seems a little crazy with the Petes being 0-4 and being so minus in goal differential with minus 14, but I don't think they're that far off, and I think these are 3 winnable games. Matty Reese, do you want to give me your prediction, and then I'll read it off to the fans because I can hear you, but the fans. Well, what are your thoughts? Yeah, fair enough. Matt's saying winning 2 at least, maybe drop one in overtime. So we're both believers. We think this team can play with these guys. Any other thoughts on those games that I missed, Matt? Yeah, roger that. Yeah, cheer on McCoy, Matt says. He was the captain. Yes. Yeah, right. And Matt just alerted me again. Sorry, Connor Smith named the captain of the Owen Sound Attack. So he's back. Probably some cheers for him. We'll have to keep our head up in that game because he likes to throw them hits like he did when he was a Peterborough Pete's player. And Sam McHugh. Matt has reminded me Sam McHugh will also be there, a big part of their offense. So I'm thinking 3. I think they can do 3. I would love to see it. I think it starts with 1. It starts on Thursday night, and we'll go from there. But anyways, thank you again for listening. Sorry for some technical difficulties. I will get this video processed. Sorry, can't even speak. And I'll have it uploaded for you on Wednesday before game time. So lots of time for you guys to see it and get hyped for another round of supporting the boys. 3 games in 3 nights. They need our support to get out of this losing streak, and we will. And I think wins are right around the corner. So thank you for listening. And as always, go Pete's, go.